Welcome back to Expediting Change. It's your host, Shomari James. Say your full name so you state to the world exactly who you are. This is the Expediting Change podcast with your host, Shomari James. I have a very important, special, dope guest with me today. We're going to get into some very good conversation, some thought-provoking conversation. And as always, we're going to teach you a little something, something. So I appreciate you pulling up to season 4 of Expediting Change. Let's go. Welcome, welcome. How are you today?
I am wonderful.
Living my life like I'm golden. Do you
Oh,
get that? Do you get that?
all the time, of
I
course.
didn't originate that.
No, I'm sorry.
Not at
Sorry to
all.
tell you. How
Okay.
are you doing
I'm
today?
fabulous. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't think guests asked me that, but I sincerely appreciate that.
We got to make sure everybody's good. We
Absolutely.
got to make sure everybody's good.
Absolutely. Why don't we start with you introducing yourself to the people?
Yes. So my name is Jessica Fisher Golden of of Mama Matters.
Yeah.
We are a private online community of mamas. We help mamas go from man, how am I going to do this to being absolutely confident? I got this. And we do that through education,
Love.
nutrition, and community.
Love that. Love that. So those sound like your pillars. What led you to pick those? Like there's so many different things that you could have picked. Why'd you pick that?
So in my personal life, for me, growing up, I had very, very interesting life.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to talk about all the things, but we
Yeah,
will focus on the pillars.
for
So
sure.
at 12 years old, I made the decision that I was going to stop eating meat. And let me
Mm,
tell you something. In my family, this is like why and
mm,
who.
mm-hmm.
And I did this on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I did have an aunt, excuse me, I did have an aunt who kind of showed me the light, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But I ran with it.
Mm.
And eventually, to today, we're not gonna age myself,
No
but
doubt.
to today, I am meat free. They now call it plant based.
Yeah.
I have evolved, so now we're eating a lot more fresh fruits and leafy greens and all these wonderful things that was not normal to
Yeah.
my diet. So because of this, I have quite a bit of years
Mm-hmm.
under my belt eating this way. So it's very natural for me to cook this way.
Yeah.
And I want to impart that and share with others on how you can eat nutritious food that tastes great.
Love that. 12 years old.
12 years old. 12 years old.
So what led you to that at 12? I don't know what I was thinking about at 12 years old, but it was not about what I was eating. Like what led you to that?
So my father, he used to listen to a lot of talk radio.
Yeah.
So whenever he would pick us up from school, this is all we heard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember one day hearing about by the time the average human is 50 years old, they will
Mm-hmm.
have 5 pounds of undigested meat in their colon. I have
That's it for you.
no idea why that stayed with me,
But it did.
especially at 12.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, this was something that just stuck with me. And I'm like, I see the people in my family and
Yeah.
they're a little on the side that I don't care to be
For
on, and I
sure.
don't need any extra weight.
For
So
sure.
that was what literally had me rethinking my McDonald's choices.
12 years old is discipline and commitment. Oh my goodness. So the first question that I always ask, and I don't want to give a teaser about one of my other guests that we had who talked about why he went to plants, but stay tuned for that one because he said some things. He said some crazy things. But one of the things he said was that I never even thought about was why do I have to eat meat? Because where do the cows get it from? They get it from plants.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
And literally it was like emoji, like, yeah. But then the conversation around protein, because we need like protein. How do we, even though the protein comes from cows, I'm sorry, it comes from grass and the cows eat the grass, etc. But don't you have to consume more to get the amount of protein that you need?
So I think that's a misconception, and
Okay.
it is something that is quite controversial.
Mm,
However, there are other sources. Like it does not have to be meat.
mm-hmm.
There's beans,
Mm-hmm.
there's legumes or different types of leafy green vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
There's other ways that you can get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of the time we just go with what we know. So
Right.
you grow up, you eat a starch, which is usually rice, potatoes, pasta, something like that,
Right.
meat, and maybe a vegetable.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
So that's what you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's what you eat.
Mm-hmm. Now, so I did a raw food diet for like like 5 to 7 days. It was so hard. I ate no meat and only raw vegetables. So, do you cook your vegetables? Do you do raw? Like, do you mix it? Like, what? And then, how did you figure out based off your tolerance from 12 to now what kept you full, how you stay nutritious, and then based off that knowledge, how you teach it to other people? Because it was hard. Like, I was sick of salads. Like one more salad, I didn't know what I was gonna do.
Understood. So starting out at 12, right? Like let's just dial back like you were talking about what you were thinking about at 12.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
12 years
yeah.
old, I'm not thinking about any of those things
For sure.
because I just wasn't that mature,
Yep.
right? So the first thing I did was cut out meat.
Mhm.
Now that doesn't mean that we're cutting out pancakes and
Yeah.
cakes and cookies and all this sugary nonsense.
Right.
It's just that I didn't eat meat. Eventually, as I progressed in this lifestyle with this
Yep.
diet, I learned about incorporating different types of vegetables. And as I said earlier, this is not something that my family did,
Mhm.
especially my immediate family.
Yep.
So it was a lot of sides. That's initially what I
Mm.
just ate.
Mhm.
We just had a lot of sides. I had a
Mhm.
lot of sides.
Mhm.
So as now I get older, I get my own place, things of that nature. I have a little bit more control on what I'm consuming. Now I'm learning. So I'm seeking. And
Yeah.
I think to your point, why it might be hard for somebody to go into a situation where you're just now like, I'm just gonna jump off the deep end like you did and did this raw
For
food
sure.
where you may not have all the, you know what, I'm gonna try this. Your
Yeah.
go-to was a salad
Yep.
because that's what is
It
like common mainstream,
and it was
right?
easy.
There you
It's
go. You can pick it
convenience.
up and boom, and there you go. But if you have to prepare.
Yeah.
I'm a huge advocate for having a plan.
Makes sense.
This is how longevity, like,
Absolutely.
it's going to be a little bit more sustainable if you have a plan.
Yep.
So for me, to answer one of your questions about do I do raw? I do cooked, I do raw. So it's a mixture.
Yep.
Usually the raw is going to be salads
Mhm.
for me. But my world opened up the older I got
For
when I
sure.
learned about quinoa. I
Yeah.
learned about kale. Kale was not a thing growing up. Me and my friends talk about this all the time. Like kale just popped on the scene
Is it
like
real?
two
Is
thou-
kale
I
real?
listen,
Look, I
listen.
just where did kale come
I
from?
would love to know because I do not when I was a little youth, no there's no kale.
No
What is
such
this?
thing.
It
No
just
such
popped
thing.
up. So but now we learn about kale and bok choy. I didn't know what bok choy was. Just all
Absolutely.
these different type of vegetables and then, the fruits to me, it's sweet.
Not a
Like
big fruit person?
not a big fruit
No?
person. I eat it. I put it in a lot of smoothies. I don't
Yeah.
really just eat it,
Yeah.
but it's good for you.
Yeah.
I'm more of a savory, not a sweet
No doubt.
person.
No doubt.
So, um, but yeah, that's what it
Hmm.
looks like.
Yeah, I eat. So I was at my mastermind group and he said, I dare you to overeat on berries. He said, now, if you eat them in the day, it's a little sweeter. He said, but you can't overeat on berries. He said, now, all that fiber, I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen in your bathroom, but go ahead and eat as many berries, smoothie as many berries as you can. But that's different than eating this junk food that's out here that's just going to have you super sick. Let's switch to the business piece. You started to talk about your pillars. But you said something very interesting that I wanted to tease out. You said private group. What does that mean for you when you say that?
So this is it's a safe space, right? And I say
Absolutely.
that because we're not so we're it's a subscription based model.
No doubt.
So what's happening inside behind closed doors, we are sharing a lot of information. It's expert led. This is not just me going on and on about what I think. These are
Absolutely.
experts that come in that share their knowledge.
Love it.
Doctors, another pillar that's not necessarily in what I talked about earlier is mental health awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So we have quite a bit of therapists that come in
Mm-hmm.
and talk. We have the opportunity for our members to
Mm-hmm.
ask questions real time.
Mm-hmm.
We do offer replays, so those who are not able to join, they have that opportunity
Yeah.
to get the information.
Yeah.
But the big thing is that we want to make sure that we're providing information,
No doubt.
and we also want to make sure that it's a safe space. Now we can get a lot of information from the internet,
Absolutely.
right? But when it's more crafted to what we as like-minded mamas are
Absolutely.
on here talking about,
Absolutely.
that's where that privacy part comes in and it lets you be a little bit more
Oh,
vulnerable. So
absolutely.
things that you may not just post online,
Yep.
fear of somebody might hear it, or you don't want to
Absolutely.
be perceived a certain way. We don't have that. We try to eliminate that barrier.
So curated content is tough, right? So I guess a double question, we can come back to one and one, is what led you to want to do that model? And then the sustainability of it is difficult because the attention span for folks nowadays is short. So first question, what led you that you wanted to go down this road, this path
Yes.
to create this model?
So let's take one click back.
Yeah, yeah.
So the whole reason behind Mama Matters was this. I, in my infinite knowledge and wisdom,
No doubt.
I said, you know what? I'm going to move away from my family.
Mm,
Nothing crazy, just that we decided to move.
yeah.
And when I became pregnant and all my aunties came down to visit for this baby shower and then went back and left me here by myself and did not tell me anything about childbirth other than what I saw in the media, I was lost. It was very isolating for me because this is my first pregnancy. I'm going to have my first child. I have no idea what to expect other than it's going to hurt and some other foolishness I heard.
No
Like,
doubt.
that's it.
No doubt.
So I went on this mission of seeking. And as I'm saying this to you, I'm realizing this is very similar to 12 years old, right? Like, this is not something I come from. So I'm learning. I'm doing a lot of this, a lot of searching, a lot of research and trying to figure out, like, well, I'm going to have a baby. So what does that mean? I know that changes are going to occur. I don't know exactly what or where. Then out of nowhere, literally, I hear about home birth. This, when I tell you, is so foreign from anything I've ever heard of in my
For
life.
sure.
No one in my family, in my what I call my sphere of influence, and none of them have done this.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's what I want to do.
So you had a home birth?
I had 2 home births.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
We friends and
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I had 2 home births. And so that was a whole nother pivot where now I'm researching,
Yep.
okay, so, all right, so we're going to have this baby at home.
Yep.
And that came about when I went to go visit a birth center.
Yeah.
And when I went to visit it, no lie, I walked into what they're considering like their bedroom. I have the exact same bed.
Yeah.
I mean, the layout was like, let me get this straight.
You were
So I'm going to
sold.
have this baby here.
Yep.
And then I got to drive on some bumpy road back into the city.
Yeah.
Why are we going to do that?
Sure.
Let's just do this in the house. Like, literally, it was that simple for me.
Absolutely.
So there was a lot more research behind that.
Yep.
And I oftentimes say I'm in my learning era. I'm in my learning era since then.
For sure.
Like, for real, for real.
sure.
So we do this. We go through baby home birth number 1. And it was great. It
No
was
doubt.
nothing like what I heard or saw.
Yeah.
And then the questions came, right? So like my friends find out I did this, some of my family members. So why did you do this? Did it hurt?
Yeah.
All these questions.
Yep.
So as I said earlier, I'm doing all this research. So I'm just
Yep.
collecting information, meeting some dope ass people.
For sure. For sure.
And I said, I don't know why this is not more mainstream. This is
Yeah.
not something like kale that just popped up on the scene out
No
of
doubt.
nowhere.
No doubt.
This has been happening for hundreds and
Centuries.
literally hundreds and
Absolutely.
hundreds of years. So it's like,
Absolutely.
why is this not a thing here? So I documented, answered a lot of questions,
Dope.
met people, went to events, like just all these different things. And then baby number 2 comes around, same thing. I went with the same company. They come to your home. Like, it's all,
Do they have a
it's
doula or a doctor?
okay. Glad you brought that
No,
up, right?
tiny bit, just enough to be dangerous,
Okay.
but I never had a baby, so
Understood.
can't say I know that much.
Understood. So what happens is you have a midwife. And if we're going to do like a kind of like a straight line comparison, the midwife is your doctor. This is your medical professional that's going to attend your birth. You can get a doula, right, which is supporting the midwife. With the company that I worked with, we were required to have a birth assistant, which is something different. So the birth assistant, if we had to, like I said, draw a line, right? So we have your midwife, who's your doctor, your birth assistant, who's more like a nurse, and your doula, who's there, like the hand holding
Yep.
kind of.
Yep. Emotional support.
Correct. So I did not have a doula. I had a birth assistant because we were required to.
Yep.
And I just so happened to have a birth assistant who also, she was a doula.
No
So,
doubt.
she's
No doubt.
wearing the same hat. She's not
Absolutely.
switching hats because of
Absolutely.
that. So it truly was awesome.
Would you
Truly.
recommend it?
All day.
Really?
All day. And that's all I know, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know hospital birth.
Right.
I've never experienced it.
Yeah.
I'll just see and hear stories.
Yeah.
But to be in your own home, in your bedroom,
Absolutely.
which is where I have mine, because another
Comfort.
question I get constantly. So you had a baby in a bathtub? I did not. No, and I did not have the baby because there's water births. Like
Oh, right,
this
right,
is
right,
what
right,
most
right.
people associate
With home.
home births with.
Mhm.
No, this is right in my bedroom, and you can invite who you want to be there.
Mhm.
And this is not a party where like, the cool people come. No, no, no. This is
Right.
like
Intimate.
of course, because
Absolutely.
you're in a very vulnerable state.
Absolutely.
And, we all have very interesting dynamics with people.
For sure.
Some are family, some are not.
For sure.
So you have to make sure you pick the right
Absolutely.
to be there.
Woo.
Yeah.
So my wife watches my podcast, so I don't want to get myself in no trouble. But both births, we had midwives, no doctors, but they were in the hospital though.
Okay.
So I think it was midwife and doula, but no doctor. She was adamant about having a midwife for her birth. So we had a part of that, but we didn't do it at the crib though. We didn't even think of anything like that. But I'm gonna definitely do some more research and let me know how I can help you and how you're promoting how all of the pros to doing that, because maybe that's what we should move to, because in hospitals, we already know what happens when Black women go to hospitals versus everybody else, right?
Yes.
We don't even
Yeah.
have to talk about those statistics. I believe it's like 50% more infections, 50% more deaths. It's
Correct.
almost like 50% more everything when you're a Black woman going to a doctor. Listen, on Expediting Change, don't try and cut me off, drug companies, hospitals. I'm just speaking the facts, but you can donate to Expediting Change. So now that you've done that, it's given you that experience. So now you say, I need to create a network. I need to now share this knowledge. I need to now make my LLC, make my business. Was that your transition?
It was not the immediate jump.
Okay.
So I started talking about the aunties, right? I always joke and say like my aunties, I blame them for not telling me,
No doubt.
why would you move and then have a kid and have no support, have no
Mhm.
village? My family does not live here.
Mhm.
And because of that, I was saying earlier how I felt it was very isolating for me because I'm
Yeah.
looking all this stuff up online,
Yeah.
but there's nobody for me to bounce ideas off of that I felt comfortable with because I don't know these people.
Yeah.
I'm building my community, if you will, because it does. There's a lot of different practitioners
Mhm.
and things of that nature that play a role in having
Mhm.
a child.
Mhm.
So what I ended up doing was I coupled that experience, I coupled that with my nutrition,
Mhm.
and because I get a lot of questions on that as well.
Mhm.
I also do a lot of homeopathic
Mhm.
treatments for
Mhm.
myself and my family. So
Mhm.
I usually am the friend that's like, yeah, so I don't want to give my baby this. What should I give them? Or I don't want to give
Absolutely.
my kid this. So what do you take when you get sick? How come you don't get sick? Well, how come you
Absolutely.
stay slim? Da, 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 all
Absolutely.
these different questions.
Yep.
So with all this research and knowledge that I have, that's when we decided
Yep.
like, all right, boom, that we're going to put this out there and
Yep.
see if there are people who are interested.
Yep.
I do not force my ideologies or my lifestyle on anyone.
No doubt.
I just want there to be the information that's available. I am very passionate about this because I lived through this
Yep.
and I know that it was very difficult for me to find like-minded people
Yep.
and find information, especially from people who look like me.
Absolutely.
Home birth,
Absolutely.
going to these birthing classes, if there was one other person of color,
Mhm.
that would be amazing.
Mhm.
Everyone in this space, majority of the people in this space they're not of color,
For sure.
period.
Yep.
And just because of my personality, like I'm okay with that.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
let's do it. Like I want to get the
Absolutely.
information, but I would
Absolutely.
love to have more people just know about this.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be this scary thing.
No doubt. No doubt. What do you feel your superpower is for your community?
Passion.
Woo, you said
You
that.
listen.
I didn't even get the question out.
Done.
Passion.
I'm passionate about this.
And how does that translate into value add for me? If I'm a client, if I'm a customer, I'm a stakeholder, I'm inside your community. How does that add value for me?
So what it looks like is I'm vested in your growth.
No doubt.
I'm vested in you learning. So
Mhm.
if there's something that I can provide you with,
Mhm.
boom, you say less. You got it. If there's something I cannot provide you with, that goes to something we were talking about earlier about having these expert-led conversations, these guests that come on, because I don't know everything.
For
I do
sure.
not pretend to know
For sure.
everything. If I'm just a vehicle, I'm
Mhm.
okay with
No
that. I
doubt.
want to make sure that the information is accessible and it's available.
Mhm.
So that's what it looks like.
Passionate about the community that you serve.
Amen.
So how's it going?
The thing about it is that and I say this as I'm looking up. We had our event earlier this year called the Maternity Wellness Summit. This was a 3-day virtual event. This was a lot. This was a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
When I tell you I took to these internet streets,
Yeah.
I am posting on all of the social medias
Yep.
daily,
Yep.
just talking, trying to get the word, because I know what I experienced.
For sure.
I know what, when I share with people some of my experiences and how they would have liked for theirs to have gone differently, whether that's in nutrition, whether that's through, becoming a mother,
Yep.
whether that's through, other circumstances we'll talk to about in a minute. But because of that, it was very like, all right, I gotta get it out there. This is my shot, because I got 6 speakers to come. And we ran the gamut from, we had mostly doctors. We had a integrative family health doctor. We had a mental health therapist. We had a doula. We had a midwife.
Nice.
I just wanted to make sure that we covered it. We had a prenatal and what does she call herself? She calls herself an infant and pregnancy chiropractor, because that's also very important from the physical aspect.
Absolutely.
So I had these women come in, and I said, you know what? I really want to just give this opportunity to the community.
For sure.
So I'm advertising, I'm doing all the things. People attend and they're like, yo, this is dope. And I'm like, but I told you it was going to be.
For sure.
So to answer your question, how it's going, I'm over here like I'm waving the flag, I'm jumping, I'm doing all the things to get people to come to learn about things that you may not know about.
Absolutely. And that's hard.
And it's very hard because I think people are, all right, I couldn't, or whatever their apprehension is, or, well, she does that because she wraps her head. She in a different, well, all the things, whatever it is. But the thing about it is, I always say you don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
So my big thing is, if we can have the resources in an accessible platform. I know a lot of us are on social media over here learning new dances and all this other nonsense.
For sure.
But I'm very passionate about also, this is not the time to be frigging around.
For sure.
This is the time to make sure that you know what's going on. And there's so much to know about. So we talk about financial wellness.
No doubt.
We talk about a lot of different things that affect mama.
That's dope. That's dope. So online is so hard though. Like, it's so difficult. Convenings to get people together and to feel the energy in person. You can kind of get them there, see, maybe offer some things. Online, the energy is tough to keep that going. When you're not face to face with individuals, folks they might not have their screen on and might have a lot of stuff going on in the background. Like, do you plan to transition at some point to do something like half virtual, half in person, streaming or something like that?
Yes, we have been asked to do in person. In person is also very labor intensive.
It is.
It is very labor intensive.
It is.
To your point about keeping up the energy, right? This is me all day. Now, granted, yes, I do get sleepy. Yes, I get tired.
No doubt.
But the thing about it is, you're gonna get. This is who I am. This is who you're gonna get.
For sure.
And although it is difficult to get people to get their trust, because realistically, we're being pitched and sold stuff all day on these internet streets.
Absolutely.
There's no way
internet, telephone calls, the radio. I mean, it's literally one out of like every 3 commercials is a drug commercial.
Yes.
Whether it's Wegovy or, I
Yes.
mean, some of them literally make me sad. I'm sorry. I cut you off, but it's like it's constant battering of sell me something scientific pill to put in my body to make me feel better, as opposed to stop eating McDonald's, stop drinking red dye number 5. Right? Like, we cause a lot of the harm to ourselves. It's nuts, but labor intensive.
Yep.
You're planning to do one?
We are.
Okay.
We had some dates we were pushing around, but I'm like, listen, I got to make sure that we are strong
For sure.
online, because part of the reason why we started this online was because not everybody in our community is central to where we are. We have people on the West Coast. We have people in the South as well. And that's great for them, because not everybody has the community that they want.
Absolutely. Or the means to come wherever you may go if you're
True.
doing it somewhere locally here and they're on the West Coast.
Correct.
So that's really dope. How do you get members? Like, do you advertise to get folks? Is it word of mouth? How do you get the majority of your membership?
Everything we do's everything.
I heard that.
What I mean by
I
that
heard
is so
that.
so we have a monthly series called Ask a Doc.
No doubt.
And that's where we actually just started a couple of months ago. So we have a doctor come on. So of course we're doing all the advertisement ahead of
Yep.
time so that you can get your burning questions answered.
For sure.
Right. So we do that. We have conversations with Jess, which you
Yep.
were a guest on.
Absolutely.
We have advertisements that we do online. We have
Yep.
the email list. We got newsletters. We're starting to partner with other
Yep.
companies. We're doing all the things that we can to
Absolutely.
get the word out.
Absolutely. So what is the most difficult thing for you in this business that even though you have all this passion, you're like, if I had a magic wand, I would just wave it and do this?
I did not think you was gonna stump me with this question, and you did. What's the one that's the thing?
Just
The
that one thing that just get on your
I got a
nerves.
couple.
No doubt.
The one thing is, I think doing all this promotion,
Yeah.
right? It is people. I'm gonna tell y'all, it's exhausting.
No doubt.
Okay, it is exhausting. But when you're passionate about something, you will push forward, right?
Yep.
So doing that and getting all these people to sign up and they're
Yeah.
coming and they're going
Yep.
to show up this event and
Yep.
then it's like, well, wait, what happened here?
Mm,
I get it, life happens,
Yep.
and you're not able to make,
Yep.
that's just
Yep.
what it is.
People being people.
Yeah,
For sure.
and as I said earlier about the trust factor, I think um, I am very authentic in who I am. So I make sure that when you see me online, this is me,
Yeah.
right? So I bring that up because I want for people to know when you sign up, when you attend a
Mhm.
virtual event, this is who you're gonna get.
Absolutely.
I think that again, people, whatever they got going on, some people, and I'm learning as I'm going through my adulthood journey,
Mhm.
we have a lot of people that have a lot of mental health issues.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's
Undiagnosed and diagnosed.
yes.
Absolutely.
And because of that, I think a lot of people are looking into like, well, I can't do this, or
Mhm.
I don't want to do this.
Mhm.
But you want to, but to your point about with the drugs, right? With the pharmaceutical companies
Mhm.
selling things. I just want the fast way of, okay, but that's not like,
Convenience.
yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, all right, well, if we're going to learn specifically about plant-based nutrition,
Yep.
right? And I have these phenomenal people that come on that share different tidbits and tricks and talk about their journeys and all these different things and offer promotion, just all these
Yep.
different areas. It's like, that's cool, but I like my fill in the blank, my grandma's healthy, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
my grandma's unhealthy,
Mhm.
butter-filled, yada, yada, yada.
Mhm.
And I always say, I can talk logic to you, but when we talk emotion,
Yeah.
I stop because I'm
Absolutely.
not going to fight you over your
Absolutely.
grandma's butter-filled
Absolutely.
whatever. That's what
Absolutely.
you want to do. That's what you want to do.
And it's really tough. I will say that this day and age right now, wellness is the most mainstream it has ever been.
Facts.
And I believe that there are individuals like yourself doing amazing work to put information out there to promote even more wellness. But imagine individuals who have been on that journey of being unhealthy spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially for years. And that don't know what you don't know is you're running this habitual, unhealthy process, red pill, green pill in the matrix over and over and over and over again. But the information and what you're doing is absolutely amazing. Please don't ever hesitate to continue to tell me how I could be helpful. You know what I mean? But I think when we start talking about this push for mental wellness, we need more individuals like yourself who are not just passionate, knowledgeable, and can admit, I'm tired and this is difficult, but I do this for the betterment of my people.
Amen.
Because I don't know, there's a handful of individuals that are out there doing it, as well as us coupling together as resources who are all in that. I talk financial wellness all the time, as you know, because you can't get to the bag if you're not respecting that your body is your first and only temple. And if you don't take care of it, then you can't grow your wealth, right? So when you think about the business and where you are now, where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years as far as the business is concerned?
Well, to your point that you made earlier about in
Yeah.
person, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
we definitely have to go in
For
person.
sure.
I think that with my personality, I reach more people in person than I can online.
Engaging them.
Yeah, I think I am.
Mhm.
You said it, I didn't, but I think I am. So I think for sure we have to do in person.
Yeah.
To your point, yes, I am here for my people. I am here for. I want to make sure that it, like I kept saying before, if I'm the vehicle that can provide this information,
Yeah.
or at least get you to the people who you need to talk to,
Absolutely.
I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
I am here for it. So to answer your question, I see us growing. I see me being online a lot more than I'd like to
Mhm.
be. Just promoting and
Yeah.
just getting the information out there. I don't need to be the face. I
For
say
sure.
this all the time.
For
I
sure.
would love for my socials to be the faces of other people,
Mhm.
i.e., these experts that I reference,
Mhm.
the people that I bring up, the businesses I highlight, just things of that nature, because it's not about me.
Yeah.
And I believe that I believe that mamas hold a very, very special place in many people's upbringings.
Absolutely.
And that could be your grandma. That doesn't
Absolutely.
necessarily have to be your birth mother.
Absolutely.
And I think that because we wear so many hats and have so many responsibilities in molding the
Absolutely.
minds of these littles, as I call them,
Absolutely.
as they're coming up, I want to make sure that I impart you with as much information as possible so that you can impart that to them.
Absolutely. Life starts in the womb. So
Amen.
it's I mean,
Listen.
the woman womb, like it that just is what it is, even though we're in this heavy patriarchal society. Feminine energy and life starting in the womb, having these conversations the moment you're pregnant, because what you're feeding yourself spiritually, mentally, physically, and putting in your mouth is going to impact the womb. So I think it's lovely. What would you say to my stakeholders, my viewers, my usership for those mamas to join?
I'm gonna look right here and I'm gonna say
For sure.
this. Listen, we at Mama Matters, we are here to provide you resources, to provide you support, because sometimes you just need that extra bit of community that you may not have. And if there's something that you want to know, more than likely, we're going to make sure that we have that information for you or we can get it for you. So join Mama Matters. That's what I want to say.
How are you expediting change in your community? You're doing a lot of work. You just talked about what you're doing. You're very passionate about it. As we talked about offline, off camera, off the record, the conversation around equity in a year from now. Like, what are you doing today? Like, what are you doing now to help individuals through Mama Matters?
So there's a lot of background work that happens.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is there's stuff that we post online, but in the
Hmm.
background, there's a lot of things that like I mentioned, there's some partnerships that
Hmm.
we're growing in that area, which I'm
Hmm.
so happy for, because at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff costs money.
For sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
This is not for the
The
free.
business, revenue and expenses.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Absolutely.
It's a business. So we're partnering with a lot of different companies, a lot of big ones, some small ones as well, because at the end of the day, like I said, it's about getting that information out.
Hmm.
So we want to make sure that we offer these opportunities. So I am live a lot during
Hmm.
the week.
Hmm.
I am making sure that if I need to be the facilitator or the
Hmm.
moderator for talks and
Hmm.
conversations, I am here for that.
Love it.
I am a resource as well, because I got a little bag of some people, and I also want to elevate them,
For sure.
because some of these people who I have met
Yeah.
in my matrescence, which
Hmm.
is the transition from ultimately not having children to becoming a mother,
Hmm.
they're phenomenal.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I oftentimes say they're the underground network, because they all know each other,
For
but
sure.
I didn't know them. And
For
when I
sure.
talk to other people in my specific local community, they're
Hmm.
like, "Who? Wait a minute! There's a chiropractor that does like that adjusts babies, and why?" And I
Everybody
explain
should know
that.
that.
So I'm gonna tell you who to talk to. This
Absolutely.
is why it's important.
Absolutely.
So I'm all about spreading the message. That's what my
Absolutely.
big thing.
I love it. Make sure you look in the camera and give all your socials, email address, phone, whatever you comfortable giving out, you give it out. She's going to give it out, and make sure you go follow, like, because the easiest thing you can do is like a post, is share a post, is follow. So give them all your social, give them all your stuff.
All right. So again, my name is Jessica Fisher Golden of Mama Matters. So you can find us on YouTube and Instagram at Mama Matters with Jess. Also, for our private community, that's Mama Matters. It's at Mama mama-matters.mn.co. I'm going to say that one more time because it's kind of interesting. mama-matters.mn.co. And if you need to find me, you can find me somewhere through one of those 3 resources.
You are doing absolutely amazing work. I could not wait to have you on the podcast. Mama Matters is amazing. Your spirit and your energy is amazing. And I believe a rising tide raises all ships. So please don't ever hesitate to let me know how me and my community and network can help you.
Thank
Thank you. Thank
you.
you for coming on the podcast.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Listen, Expediting Change, y'all. I guess this season, y'all gonna get real happy or real something with me because all of these guests, even though they have businesses, every single one of them, we have talked about wellness. Every single one of them. And we focused on wellness. Now, living my life like I'm golden. Jessica's story started out with curiosity. The passion was in her, but at 12 years old, she was curious enough to listen to the radio and hear that something would be harmful. And then if you listen and go back and replay and listen to this over and over again, she used the word research. I don't know if we are curious enough nowadays, people, if we're asking enough questions nowadays, people. These devices that we hold in our hands, they're not just for TikTok. They're a wealth of information through Google, through AI. And I'm not saying that you're supposed to trust every single source, but we need to be confused at a higher level about more important shit is what we have to do. We have to ask better questions to gain more knowledge. And that's what Mama Matters does. That's what Jessica does. What she does is have this community and based off her own passion and curiosity from when she was 12 years old, feeds it to the people, providing a safe space for one of the most important things in the world, which is our Black and brown mamas to be able to be educated so therefore they can thrive. And let's make no mistake about it. She mentioned it as well. Revenue and expenses. There's still a balance sheet. There's still an income statement. So we still have to talk about how we make 1+1 = 2 so we can make sure that we keep this business going. But at the heart of it, at the root of it, without being well internally for ourselves, we can't be well for other people. So let's make sure that we're taking care of ourselves so then we can take care of everybody else. You know what they say when you get on a plane. Make sure that you put your own oxygen mask on first and then you help everybody else. This has been Expediting Change. I appreciate y'all.